This video is brought to you by The Embrace on Kickstarter. More about that at the end of the video. G'day everyone, and welcome to ComicsMATE, your mates in comics from the land down under. I'm Dean James, and today we're talking about Disney's absolute domination of the box office top 5 list according to Deadline. Wait, this is the biggest box office bombs. Haha, that's right. And for anyone paying attention, I'm sure this will come as no surprise, but Disney officially dominated Deadline's annual most valuable blockbuster bomb list for 2023. But if you haven't already, please like the video to help push it out into the algorithm and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Now let's jump into this. For the first time ever, 4 Disney movies make the list, totaling over $600 million in loss. Anybody want to take a guess as to what those movies were? Let's play a game. You comment your guess down below before you watch this video, and we will see how smart my subscribers really are. Pretty damn clever, I'd bet. Disney previously confirmed a $200 million loss for The Marvels starring Brie Larson and Iman Vellani, which is a sequel to the billion-dollar Captain Marvel movie that was sandwiched between Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Disney and Marvel were also previously voted the biggest losers of 2023, along with Diversity.
Put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more fucking lame!
That's according to The Hollywood Reporter. For the first time in a decade, Disney also failed to hit that magic billion-dollar number at the box office in 2023. That's not counting the pandemic years. A recent financial report from Disney also confirmed that The Marvels and Indiana Jones lost them nearly $400 million combined. That's a fairly big chunk, but it's not even half of the $1 billion they reportedly lost last year. Yeah, you heard that right. Disney lost over $1 billion trying to force diversity into everything, and these recent reports are just confirming what was already speculated back in January. Regarding the annual list of top box office bombs, it comes via Deadline in their most valuable blockbuster tournament annual bombs section, where Disney claims 4 of the 5 for the first time, including The Marvels as the biggest bomb.
Black Girl Magic!
According to Deadline's data, The Marvels has a net loss of $237 million. Just as I have said numerous times, the site blames the Miss Marvel Disney Plus series, as no one watched it, and for Kevin Feige hiring directors who have no business directing huge tentpoles. Director Nia DaCosta actually said it wasn't her movie, it was Kevin Feige's, so are the directors to blame? Total expenses are listed at $455 million, but the film only brought in $218 million in revenue, which equates to a $237 million loss.
You get what you fucking deserve!
Number 2 on this list is the only movie in here that didn't come from the activists masquerading as creatives over at Disney, but given its myriad of other problems, is no real shock either.
I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man. Just in case you worry that they're bullets. Those are Nerf bullets.
Thank you for letting me.
They are fake and they are a toy.
Thank you for letting me.
This is my belt buckle and my Nerf bullets.
I appreciate that.
Please don't take them from me.
Number 2 is, of course, The Flash, which reportedly lost $155 million. It's no surprise that The Flash is at number 2, another awful movie which didn't even feature a supervillain, and it's a comic book movie. You would think the titular character would want to know who killed his mum. It was Zoom. The film also brought back Michael Keaton as Batman after 30 plus years and introduced Sasha Calle as Supergirl. But they proved meaningless as they died over and over and were simply blipped away by a soup can at the end. According to Deadline's numbers, The Flash brought in $250 million in revenue, but has expenses of $405 million, which is a $155 million loss. The Flash bombing was something predicted by absolutely everybody, but those predictions fell on deaf ears at Warner Brothers, who seemed more interested in keeping Ezra Miller on staff out of fear of being labeled transphobic when that deranged lunatic claimed he was non-binary. And despite his well-documented crime spree, including but not limited to assault, breaking and entering, and grooming of a 12-year-old girl, Warner decided to push forward with this poorly cast speedster. Well, you reap what you sow, Warner Brothers. This may be the best example of what happens when you ignore your core audience. That is, until we get to number 3 on this list, which is of course, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Turning your titular hero into a washed-up old loser was never going to appease fans, but Disney would not be discouraged. Luckily, the fans didn't show up. It's possible they were sour from how Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy treated Star Wars, so they expected Disney to ruin Indiana Jones. They weren't far off, but it's nowhere near as bad as Luke Skywalker or the past 5 years of MCU content. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny had total revenues of $373 million, but total expenses of a whopping $516 million. The loss? $143 million.
How did you end up like this?
Resourceful, daring, beautiful, self-sufficient!
Oh yeah, and let's not forget a dash of cringe-inducing girl boss feminism. Disney also confirmed that Wish was a big bomb. So again, no surprise it made Deadline's list. The flick only brought in $231 million, but had expenses of $362 million, which is a loss of $131 million. So it's safe to say that it earned its spot at number 4 on this list. Disney's Wish was just a sad attempt to cash in on the company's 100-year anniversary, despite the fact that for the past 20 years, they've done nothing but try to destroy that same legacy. With the terrible, unfinished-looking CGI animation and weird race-swapping of beloved historical characters, not to mention Disney's family-friendly reputation being all but destroyed at this point, it's no wonder this movie failed spectacularly. Walt Disney is no doubt rolling over in his grave. At number 5 is The Haunted Mansion, which lost $117 million. It brought in $143 million, but had expenses of $260 million. So that's a loss of $117 million. I mean, what can I even say about this movie? Between the ridiculous backstories of the family, with them all being geniuses and yet somehow still poor, and the obvious downgrade when compared to the Eddie Murphy version, which also didn't do well at the box office despite it being superior in every way, this was never going to be a big success. They're lucky they made that much money, to be honest. But Dean, you said this list is dominated by Disney, but The Flash wasn't a Disney movie, it was made by Warner Brothers. That's an excellent non-point there, strawman I just made up. Unfortunately for you, it means nothing, because this is only the top 5. And if Warner Brothers hadn't released The Flash at all, which they shouldn't have, do you want to know what would be there because it's currently at number 6 on the list? No. Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. It's the woke race-swapped Little Mermaid, which as of the time of this recording is at a loss of $75 million. Yes, that movie sucked in almost every way. Poor special effects, feminist diatribes, god-awful songs, and of course the complete disrespect to the original cartoon. It turns out nobody was excited to see a blackwashed Ariel take center stage and girl boss her way out of all of her problems in what's supposed to be a tale of a red-headed mermaid and a Prince Charming falling in love. They even gender-swapped the bird.
I remember.
Alright, so that's the list of the biggest bombs of 2023. But what did you think? Did you guess what was going to be on the list? No cheating, I'm going to be reading all the comments. What other movies do you think should have been on the list? And what movies were actually good last year? To be honest, most of the movies I saw in 2023 weren't great. That's all I have for you today, but before you go, check out this new superhero comic, The Embrace. Written by superstar writer behind SPQR's Bizarre Adventure and Judex, Michael Odin, and featuring art from one of indie comics' quickest rising stars, The Embrace is a supernatural superhero brought to you by Nine Realms Publishing. Based out of Alexandria near Washington, DC, Clarence Griffin is a father who has gone through a terrible loss. His son was murdered in gang violence a year ago, and when the police fail to solve the case, Clarence is pushed over the edge and officially gives up on his life. But before he can do anything irreversible, he is stopped by the ghost of his son, David, who when they hug, gives him a vision of the night his son died, revealing who was responsible. When he comes out of the vision, his son is gone and he has been transformed into a supernatural superhero with all the abilities he will need to take down these criminals. But will he seek justice or vengeance? Find out now on Kickstarter. The link will be in the comments.